Lilya angrily hurled the papers at Yuri, accusing him of forgetting about the report again. Yuri calmly responded by questioning if Lilya had made a mistake in assigning him tasks simply because she was the director. Lilya, who had been acting differently since the business started making good money, refused to acknowledge her husband's contributions and overstepped her authority. Yuri tried to reason with her, but Lilya's temper continued to escalate until she insulted him by suggesting that his place was in the village with the cows. She stormed out and didn't return home that evening. Yuri reflected on the situation and realized that perhaps he truly wasn't in the right place. He didn't want to be around someone who treated him with such disrespect. He quickly packed a few things and checked his finances before leaving their luxurious apartment. As he walked out onto the street, he wondered where he should go. With a grin, he turned on his navigator and saw that the distance to his next destination was only 200 kilometers away. Olesya sat by the water, a favorite pastime of hers that often earned her scolding from her mother. Today, she sat under a rowan tree, enjoying a book from her modern wheelchair. Yuri approached and remarked on how unusual it was to find a girl reading for pleasure. After introducing themselves, Olesya sighed and mentioned her wheelchair, to which Yuri responded with a lighthearted comment about how losing a tooth shouldn't stop him from meeting people either. As they continued to chat, Yuri asked for Olesya's thoughts on opening a cafe in town. They conversed for hours, discussing everything from Olesya's book to local events and attractions. Before she knew it, Olesya realized how much time had passed and hurriedly announced that she needed to head home to avoid worrying her mother. Yuri offered to walk her home, surprising Olesya since most people were often uncomfortable around her due to her disability. As they made their way to Olesya's house, her mother spotted them from afar and grew concerned. Once upon a time, Olesya was just an ordinary cheerful girl. She and her boyfriend were returning from a party. He got behind the wheel drunk. When the car went off into a ditch, Olesya couldn't get up, and he got away with minor bruises. When it turned out that she would not be able to walk on her own, her fiancé ran away, saying that he did not need a cripple. All this time, her daughter was being cared for by her own mother. She would not allow anyone to hurt Olesya. "Mom, I'd like you to meet Yuri," the girl said as she drove closer. "This is Larisa Viktorovna, my mother." "Olesya, it's time to take your medicine," Larisa told her daughter. Glancing at the young man, she threw, "Goodbye." "Goodbye," mumbled Yuri and left at a loss. "Mom, Yura is not bad. He's going to open a cafe here," Olesya told her mother. "Yes, he's not bad. You just met him, didn't you?" Larisa interrupted her. "An hour ago, right?" The girl turned away, not wanting to continue the conversation. The next day she went to the park. It had been a long time since she had taken a walk there. Reading a book, Olesya suddenly heard a familiar voice beside her. "Finally, and I wanted to go to your house." The girl turned around and saw Yura. "Are you there?" she asked in amazement. "Yes, what is wrong with that?" Larisa Viktorovna was worried about her daughter being deceived by someone. She accidentally overheard a phone conversation between Olesya's fiancé and someone else, where the fiancé said, "What do you care who she is? I'll come back, and you'll give me everything I own. And don't forget, darling, the property and the business are registered to two people." That evening, Larisa decided to tell Olesya everything. Larisa was outraged. "He has a wife," she exclaimed. "Why do you need a swindler like him? He's not good enough for you." "Mom, don't ruin my mood," Olesya protested. "I'll prove to you that he's not who he claims to be," Larisa said. "When is he going to Moscow?" "Tomorrow night," Olesya replied. "That's when we'll find out who this Yura is," Larisa declared. "Mom, are you trying to be a detective?" Olesya asked. "I'll do anything to protect my daughter," Larisa replied. A few days later, Yuri returned to Olesya. Larisa confronted him, saying, "So the groom is back. Let's hear what you were doing in Moscow." She then took Yuri's bag and pulled out a small tape recorder in front of everyone. As they listened to the tape, Larissa's gaze shifted to the side in horror. The recording revealed that Yuri was actually discussing the division of property with his wife and making plans for surgery to help Olesya walk again. An uncomfortable atmosphere hung in the air of the house. Suddenly, Larissa fell to her knees before the young man and begged for forgiveness. "I'm so sorry, Yuri. I had no idea that you were such a good person," she pleaded. Yuri replied casually, "Oh, Larissa Viktorovna, don't worry about it. Can you feed me instead? I'm quite hungry." Despite the tense situation, the three of them sat down at the table and enjoyed a delicious dinner while discussing the upcoming wedding of Yuri and Olesya. Subscribe to our channel not to miss new interesting life stories. Give us your likes, write your opinion in the comments.